Okay, Jack, you appear to be good to go.
All right, let's call, it's 9:01. Call this meeting to order. And before, this is the county services meeting. Before we get started, I just wanted to make a little comment here before we get going. I just wanted to start off by saying that I got some pretty big shoes to fill as chairman of this committee. The chair for this position prior to me, Christopher Norberg, was the most actively involved board member in our county government. Much of the new procedures that we are operating today are the items that Chris Norberg was one of the main driving force for those projects. Fortunately, the public was not aware of what all he did for the county. So I just wanted to say that. Becky, if you want to do roll call.
Sure. Jack Scroggstead,
Here.
Danielle Allen, Katie White, Ron Gascoigne,
Here.
Reed Acree.
Here.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have any public attendees? Nope, you're not. Okay. Figure it out later. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is we need to approve of the minutes from the previous meeting, November 14th. Minutes from the November 14th Administrative Service Committee need to be approved. If there are no changes or corrections, the minutes will be approved as presented. Did gentlemen get a chance to look at those?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Any objections? They'll be as approved. Action items, approved minutes of the November 14th, 2022 Transportation Solid Waste meetings. Attached in the onboard is a copy of the minutes from the November 14th, 2022 Transportation Solid Waste meeting. If there are no changes or corrections, the minutes will be approved as presented. Okay, we'll mark those as approved. Dave, do you have a report that you'd like to share with the committee? Can you also talk with committee members to the MFT item on the agenda, please?
Sure. So you get a copy of the resolution there. Really what's associated also with that resolution, which, I mean, you don't have and aren't required to act on, is local public agency general maintenance estimate of cost. Okay. This is routine. This is done every year, and this needs to be done in order that we can spend motor fuel tax money on several items as we go into the new year. To give you an idea of what's on the estimate of cost, it's things like shoulder stone, bituminous, cold patch, bituminous, hot patch, the paint for our striping, the beads, salt, sign posts and signs, spray patching, seal coat, all these sorts of things that are maintenance items for the highway department that we would run through MFT, through the MFT account, are kind of listed out on here. They've got an estimate. They total up to that $1,024,255. So what will happen is I will sign this estimate. You don't have to do anything with the estimate. The estimate will go in as well as the resolution signed by the board chairman, assuming it all goes through, and it'll get turned into IDOT. IDOT will then authorize those funds after you have appropriated them, and then I'll be able to spend money come January 1.
That's always a good thing. All right. Is there a motion on the floor to move the motor fuel tax maintenance for fiscal year 2023 to the executive committee for inclusion on the December County Board's agenda?
I move.
All right. Mr. Reed, first, we have a second.
I second.
Mr. Gascoigne seconds it. Thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passed.
Did you also have the ordinance on the agenda to discuss?
Dave, is that the ordinance from last month that we laid over?
Yes.
Okay,
I didn't know
so-
it needed to be on there. I just wanted to, if they had any questions.
I think it's a great idea to give these guys an overview of it. It technically, we don't bring it back to the committee
Yeah.
level after it's laid over at the county board member. And so it is on our full board agenda.
Right.
But maybe you want to give these guys a heads up just because we've got some new faces.
And that was the only reason. Yeah, typically that would be out of order to even bring it back through, but the whole thing changed in midstream of the ordinance. But I believe Mr. Zeman spoke on this ordinance at the last county board meeting. I don't know if you recall that or not. It's the Lowell Park speed limit. ordinance. That was changed to 45 a couple years ago. I was asked to take a look at it again to see if it was really that effective. Did another speed study on it this July. And essentially, we went from a speed limit, where the speed study came out in 2018 was 56 mile an hour. And where it came out here this last July was 53 mile an hour. So the new speed limit really hasn't done much to affect the speed in the area between Timber Creek and Penrose or Pilgrim. So the committee at that point decided to basically make a new ordinance to bring that area back up to 55 mile an hour, which is the way it had been for the last who knows how long. So that's why you're even considering it. So that was presented last month by Mr. Zeman, and as Wendy noted, laid over. So it'll be actually to have a vote on it next week.
So a little bit about logistics for our new members here. When it's an ordinance like that, what that does is requires it to lay over for 30 days for the public's comment period. So the board's action last month was to simply go into that 30-day layover period for comment. Then it comes back to the board the following month for approval. And so that's what Dave's referring to here with this laying over and coming back. So it will be on your agenda to vote on at this upcoming meeting.
And I believe the actual speed study from July was included in the on-board packet, last month, if you
It
ever
was,
wanted to
yes.
review that. So that just is the speed study worksheet and the raw data that backs that up.
And we'll make sure that gets on the full board agenda again as supporting documentation for your review prior to the board meeting.
And I'll just read you a snippet out of 625 ILCS 5/11-604, just to give you, just so you know why you're the ones voting on it. There's a snippet in there that says, upon receipt of an engineering study for part or zone of a highway in question from the county engineer, and notwithstanding any other provision of law, the county board of a county may determine and declare by ordinance a reduction in the maximum speed limit at any place along any part or any zone of a county highway whenever the county board, in its sole discretion, determines that the reduction in the maximum speed limit is reasonable and safe. That's talking about reduction. Same goes for raising it. But you'll notice there's a speed study to be done. You can take a look at that speed study, but it is at the county board's sole discretion.
All right, thank you. And then if you guys need help finding where that information is in the onboard, I'll show you guys later on here after the meeting. Okay, all right, let's move on. Assessor's office, GIS. I don't see Jennifer in here. Next, county board. Do you have anything for a report for county board, Wendy?
I do not, and we're not looking for any action, except to say that at the executive committee, we will be presenting a change to your board rules. And Chairman Olson referred to this at the December 5th organizational meeting. It is his wish to create an additional committee that is focused on our facilities and facilities maintenance. Last year, that got consolidated under another committee, and upon further review and given all of the facilities that the county currently has, the decision was made to present that back to you, the board members, for consideration of creating that standing committee. So that'll come back to you. I don't have that language ready to present to you this morning, but it'll be circling back to you. And again, to our new faces, these supporting documents, ordinances and otherwise will all be part of your board packet so that you can review that prior to the board meeting. I would like to have had it ready for you this morning. I just didn't get the job done, so.
We won't hold that against you, so you got a lot on your plate. And that is a huge item. We've got a lot going on, so. All right, IT department, I see our IT gentleman is here, so.
Thank you.
Is there anything, Mr. Quirky, that you would
I
like
do.
to?
Well, first of all, again, for new board members or anybody joining online, my name is Paul Gorski, the IT. It's a reminder for new board members, the IT department consists of Zachary Owen, Jonathan Henriksen, and myself. Jonathan supports many of your board activities. We also partner with Syndio Networks on server networking projects. We have a whole long laundry list of projects. I'll try to keep it short. Current projects include application server upgrades and migrations in both old and new courts, file server upgrades in old courts, new courts, and LEC, desktop deployments in old courts and animal control. And once those are done, Jonathan will work with the board members on their new board email accounts. And so he'll start contacting you later this week on the new email accounts. Also working with Amy Jensen on quotes and research for new technology to be purchased for new courts with court grant money. And that leads into upcoming projects, because when that grant money comes in, I expect IT to be fairly busy in the spring of 2023 deploying that equipment. And then also in Charlie's area, the state's attorney's office and the public defender are getting a new database, court management for their project to be rolled out in September, but we've already had kickoff meetings for that going forward. And we're also going to be replacing some old network hardware in new courts to better support our phones and Wi-Fi in new courts. And again, we have other projects on our to-do list, but if you have any questions on any of those, please contact me with questions. And since you've mentioned it, talking about facilities and or properties, not that I don't like you, Jack, or anybody else in this thing, but you might consider moving IT along with maintenance and building, since our operations run all over everything. I'm kind of 50-50 on the thought of it. I really don't have a strong opinion on it, but since I work very closely with Greg Saunders and his team, that might be something you might consider. But again, I don't have a strong feeling one way or another. So does anyone, and we have no actionable items before this committee or the board this month. Does anyone have any questions for me?
I do. Were you talking about like as a committee, reporting committee?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know if you meant physically move them over there with maintenance, because that's what I was confused.
Well, that actually with the committee structure, and I know the talk down the road is to move me into that space, which speaks to an issue, again, and it's probably not for this committee, but when you're planning to build out the old LEC, you'll need wired networking, wireless networking, card readers, and security cameras, just to keep that on the board's radar going forward. So, but yeah, I know there was some talk that physically moving IT into maintenance's old area when they moved maintenance over into the new build out at the old LEC, which that's fine, but I'm expecting that'll be in the future and nothing immediate, so.
Yeah, that's something that we could consider, down the road there.
Jack, just one other quick follow-up to Paul's report there. I love the idea of the county board issued email addresses. There is one thing we have to think about, and Paul, to be honest, I haven't had a chance to follow up on it, but they sign in to Onboard using their current email addresses. It's not clear to me if you guys can go in and just change your email within Onboard, within your account, and have it switch over. So I want to follow up on that and just give everybody a proper heads up if we're going to have to take everybody out and bring them back in under the new email address. I'll follow up with you.
Okay.
And Mr. Gorski did provide us with some information on your Onboard about how that the new email addresses will be coming along in time.
He also sent me a report that'll be included in the package.
Yep, it's in,
Well, in
under.
addition-
Well, sorry, I had another report. It's that you don't have in your packet. It's so Becky doesn't have to type up minutes, and for Wendy's purposes, we missed our weekly meeting on Friday. I will get this to you in the future, and it has the summary here. What you're speaking about is the summary on the email accounts. Again, the email accounts will cost a one-time fee up right now at $960, and then $960 per year going forward, which in the next budget year I'll simply include in the IT operating budget.
Okay, great. All right, for lots, I see Greg's not here, but he does have a report for us. And then for ROE, Chris is not with us. Oh, you're with ROE?
Yes, I'm
Okay,
Michelle Hobb.
all right, so you're filling in. All right,
I'm
go
the
ahead.
Lee County employee and his administrative assistant.
Okay,
Sorry.
that'd be great. I was curious, but figured it would come up. All
I
right,
don't
go
get
ahead.
to-
If you
I-
want to help
I-
out there, that'd be great.
Yeah, I don't get to come very often, but him and Josh are both at the Raising Student Achievement Conference this weekend, the next couple of days in Schaumburg. So I got tagged to come. So I know he sent you a big, long report, which I'm sorry to say I never read. Because I always report on what we're currently working on, which is Josh and I are finishing up on our health, life, safety inspections. We have Forestville Valley School District this month, actually next week, and then we have Byron School District next week. And then in January, we're going to be finishing with Meridian, which is Stillman Valley. And then we have Paw Paw, Ashton Franklin Center, and Eswood to be done. And then we are done with inspections for the year, as long as the weather holds out for us. And then spelling, I'm also due spelling bee, and we've got at least 23, I think maybe a little bit more than that for our regional spelling bee in February. So we're been busy.
And for the sake of the new board members, ROE stands for Regional Office of Education. They cover 3 counties, Whiteside, Ogle, and Lee. So Michelle is, as she said, the Lee County employee. They have, I don't know how many employees you've got over there right now. Yeah, okay, so, but yeah, they do cover 3 different counties. So her school inspections she's talking about are for the 3 different counties, so.
And the long report that Chris provided for us, it is lengthy. You must like to type, I guess, but there is a lot of information, that the things that they do and that they provide for the students in this area and all the other areas as well. So I think
We have a total of 24 districts in all 3 counties. So that's a total of, I think, almost 80 buildings that we service, not including, of course, all the teachers that we service and all that. So,
All right, well, I appreciate you coming and nice to meet you.
nice to meet you.
All right, zoning and planning. Dee, would you like to walk through the committee with your report for zoning and planning?
Don't leave now, Tom. This is the best part. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Good one.
Welcome. I'm Dee Duffy from the Lee County Zoning Office, and my assistant Alice Hinkle is here. You received our report on your on board. And I just wanted to begin by saying, if you ever have any questions concerning building permits, zoning, anything like that, please, my office is right across from the board here. And come in and talk to us about it. Any questions you have, please feel welcome. We have 2 petitions going to, I'm all confused because we have 2 petitions coming from our zoning board this month, and that's in your packet, I believe. They're 2 community solar projects co-located in South Dixon South Dixon Township, and you'll be voting on that this month at the county board. We have 2 more petitions going to the zoning board. That'll be in January, but you'll see that at the end of January. We have a Lisa appeal coming to our planning commission. And Reed, you know all about that. That won't be, and that'll be taken vote internally at the planning commission. So you'll have nothing to do with that one. What other actions do we have? You want to talk about that?
Well, you're going to go over the appeals? You're going to talk about that?
Yes, I'm going
Okay.
to address that.
All right. There's also in front of us, there's an appeal. She's going to kind of explain a little bit what the appeal process is, and we're going to jump a little bit ahead, but that's that appeal that I gave you a copy of a little bit ago.
What's,
Or
The
your,
conditions?
not necessarily your appeal, but
The conditions.
Yeah, the amended, I'm
Yes.
sorry, the amended.
As Dee mentioned, the zoning board recently heard two petitions for two 2-megawatt co-located community solar project. Petitions 22P 1598 and 22P 1599. The zoning board did one set of conditions and finding of facts that would apply to both petitions, given their co-location. And what that means is that the company is going to try to build two 2-megawatt projects. However, they may not get the permissions from the state, so only one of these may be developed. That's why they're divided into two separate petitions. So as part of the conditions, the zoning board came up with, I've handed those out to you. And I'm proposing a couple of changes to what they've suggested. In paragraph A, I would ask that language be added. Excuse me. They're requesting, the zoning board would like to see the hours of construction limited to 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday for any non-participating resident within a quarter mile of the proposed project area. I would ask that you add language unless a waiver is obtained from an affected non-participating resident. That allows the company then to work with those residents to maybe be able to work longer or work on Sundays as well. But then that leaves it up to the landowner. Down in paragraph K, I just would ask that we add language prior to the issuance of a building permit. That way there is some kind of trigger attached to that as to when they need to have that provided. And then the final condition proposed by the zoning board said that no waiver for above ground cabling could be obtained. We're asking to remove that. These smaller projects, we are seeing the cabling run above ground. Under the new solar energy systems ordinance that the county just passed, we do allow for this. So we feel that it would be appropriate to remove that limitation so that they could do above ground wiring so long as they have a cab system to maintain the wires. And that's all I have.
All right, this, we can't do any action on this particular proposed amended. Sorry, I used the wrong word. So we're just going to be, it's going to be taken to the executive. It's going to be on their agenda. And if you guys have any questions to her on this particular topic, you can ask her right now if you'd like, or if you want to talk about it. We can't do anything about it. Any questions?
No questions.
All right. So we're just going to continue on with ours. So let's go back up. Going to the Zoning Board of Appeals, there's nothing there, but coming from the Zoning Board of Appeals, petition 22P 1598, special use of community solar project, South Dixon. Is there a motion to move that petition 22P 1598 to the Executive Committee for inclusion on the December County Board agenda?
Yes, I make the motion.
All right, Mr. Gascoigne.
Second.
Mr. Reed will second that. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Say no. Okay, motion carried. All right, then same thing, petition 22P 1599, special use community solar project, South Dixon Township. Is there a motion to move petition 22P 1599 to the Executive Committee for inclusion on the December County Board agenda?
I make the motion.
Mr. Gascoigne?
Second.
Mr. Reed seconds it. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Going to the Planning Commission, Aliso, Carl, and Kathy Coling. TPN number 21-12-12-400-005 in the Willow Creek Township. That's going to the Planning Commission, and then we don't have anything coming from the Planning Commission. All right. Solutions. All right, there's a resolution amending building permit fees. There's no action that can be taken on this. This item is going to be going to the executive committee agenda for inclusion on the December County Board.
So Jack, this committee could, since this is the committee that the zoning department reports to now, this committee could review, ask any, excuse me, questions, and then make a recommendation to executive
Thank you.
if you so choose.
Thank you for that. In front of you is the zoning permit fees. Obviously, there's no action for us, but if we want to ask the zoning department, if you guys have any questions on that particular revision.
I just, I don't know anything about the LiDAR or the ADLS. I was just wondering if somebody could be.
Perfect. This is what this is for. So yes.
The ADLS is the automatic lighting system that we put on, that is available now for the wind turbines. It would eliminate the red blinking lights, and it would only activate lights when aircraft enters their area. So this is the new technology that we're seeing, and we've incorporated into our new ordinance that was just passed here recently. LiDAR is a type of, it's similar to surveying equipment. What is it? Lighting and, I can't think of the,
Light detection and ranging system.
thank you.
I'm looking at it. So.
Thank you. It is a way for them to measure the wind, and it seems to be more effective without having to put up these 200-foot towers. They can bring this machine in. It is operated by solar. They put solar panels on a little cart. They attach it to the machine. It sits out in a field. It does the measurements. And it uses like a laser beam, but it is eye safe. There's no hazards. There's no extra precautions that we would have to take to allow these to come in.
And both of those are brand new items on the
Yes.
permit.
Yep.
And were there any other changes on your fees that you want to highlight for the committee members?
We just, we're going to increase our petitioning fees. And I believe that's it.
There was a pipeline.
Oh, we did pass a pipeline ordinance last month, I believe. And so now we're just associating the fees if someone were to come in.
That's a new fee.
New fee, yep.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Dee or Alice, but the petitioning fees, the increase, the reason for that is that we have increased costs with a court reporter that comes in and actually prepares transcripts for all of those. And so to cover Lee County's costs, we are raising the petitioning fees for that transcriptionist or any other costs that we have. The idea being that the petitioner, if it doesn't completely cover, at least substantially covers those costs of having petitions move through the system.
Anything else?
Thank you.
I noticed that I totally forgot about Nancy. Sorry. Nancy, do you have anything for us?
Good morning. I'm Nancy Peterson, Lee County Clerk and Recorder, in case anyone doesn't know who I am. I just want to give you an update on my election department, which is located down on the first floor. If you would have come in the front door and turned directly to your left, the office used to be located right straight forward, but we have now moved kitty corner across the hallway into what was considered a break room. And the reason I moved the girls over there is that we have some issues with sewer gas smell that was coming into their office. So they were relocated across the hall with much help and appreciation from Paul and his staff and Greg and his maintenance staff. So they are now fully across the hall. We do not have an ETA on that. We're hoping within, 6 months or so, they'll be able to move back. So they will be having their consolidated election in that new office. That election is going to be held on April 4th. And we will start early voting next month. And that's all I have. Any questions? Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. Unfinished business, there are no other items under unfinished business. For new business, there are no items under new business. Executive session, I don't see any.
Hey, Jack,
Yes.
my fault. I added something after Becky got you the information. There is something under new business.
Oh, okay.
We're going to do a little test of the voting system. I want to just make sure everybody's getting comfortable with
Oh,
it.
that's awesome. All right, let's
So-
do this.
I'm going to take, so here's again, I described this a little bit the other day. Here's how the process we're going to see works. And for you new members, this is new to everybody. We haven't done this yet, except in a testing environment. So how this is going to work is the meeting clerk, in this case, that would be Becky, is going to open the voting. So you get in and open? So while she's looking that up, she's going to open the voting. Once she opens the voting, it should pop up on your screen and you're going to be able to vote yes, no, or abstain. There is no motion behind this. This is literally just a test, so don't worry about it. You can play with it. As soon as she gets that open, you can do that and we'll see how it looks on your side and our side.
Let's
I'm gonna
see
go
here.
see.
I'm wondering if we need to refresh it somehow.
Yeah, you might have to. Refresh button.
No, I'm just dragging it down and seeing if that does it. Hate to say that we'd have to pull in and out of it.
So when I go in, and I made it live. Oh,
Set and open and close, you see the blue below that, right below your, go in there.
this was, so where it says open date, that was blank.
Okay.
So I hit open, so it put 9:35 in.
So we just-
Do I wanna click it?
Notify now upon open, notify, there you go, click that. Save your changes, see what happens in there, and you see why we need to test this, you guys? We're not even sure ourselves until we've got some candidates to
Right.
test how this is gonna work. All right.
I'm gonna-
See, Becky, you know what, at the top, it still says draft.
Let me go in here.
No, stay right there.
Okay, stay here.
Right here. where it says draft. That's where it
Okay,
is.
there you go.
There.
All right, so now I notified, so now you should.
Votes, so
Okay.
now votes can be cast. Did it pop up? I
Pop
heard
up.
somebody beep.
Yep, pop up on the top here. I think we're just gonna click on that, I
Okay,
think.
didn't pop up for Ron here yet.
I clicked on it, but then it
Didn't do
disappeared.
anything?
Yeah, it walked away. Okay, down, if you refresh it, drag that, your left column all the way down and pop it back up, and then you scroll back up to it. Under A, it says view approval. You guys see that?
That looks good.
And then you click on view approval. Is it there yet?
Can I, sorry, I don't want to lean over your shoulder and. Unfinished business.
Oh.
You didn't refresh, right? This is not refreshing.
Okay,
How about
there we go.
yours?
Yep,
Did
I got it.
yours pop up? All right, awesome. That's what it should look like. For some reason, Ron's doesn't want to refresh. And you'll notice that you can go in and keep changing that until we close the voting. Not that I recommend you do that all the time, but you can. If you change your mind or got your finger in the wrong spot.
Do you have Mr. Gascoigne as listed as on here?
That's a good question. Let's just make sure. Manage voters. A very good question.
Yeah, he's on here at the bottom.
He's on at the bottom.
So can he go out and come back in? Like, go back to the agenda and come back?
I'm wondering if,
Doing this dry run without.
Yes, this is why, because we don't even know how it's going to act on our end, let alone on their end.
yeah, I'm trying to, yeah, I can't even get that to.
Locked up.
Okay, so let's go back out.
Worst case
We shouldn't
scenario.
have to do that, but
Right, you shouldn't have to.
there it is now.
There you go, now you got it. That was weird, Ron, that wasn't you, that was the tablet, so. it's not
We
you.
have to figure out what that is.
So now I have to close it.
If everybody voted, did everybody vote?
Yeah,
I don't think Ron.
and one of the things too is I don't know what anybody else voted yet either, so. I
And
just
don't-
changed my
I
vote.
don't think when you're manually opening it and closing it, I don't think you have to do anything with the date. I think you just go up and close or
Say
open.
changes?
Yeah, say, well. You see at the top where it said draft before? And you go back up.
This approval is open vote can now be cast.
You scroll down, is there anything else down there? There's results. We don't have any results coming in, and I think it has to do with this date. Okay, maybe now you do do the close date. Just save, select, hit enter.
See, that's the thing, is it doesn't give you an in-between.
So this is why we're testing it, guys. We can't,
Oh, do I close it?
there you go. That's what it is. That's it's that button right there that's gonna open it, it's gonna close it. I don't think the time and date matter if we're manually doing this.
So now they're up there.
All right, now, this is what you're gonna see when the votes are all tabulated. Of course, obviously, with a 3-member committee here, it's not hard to figure out who voted what, but when we get into the 20-member board, this will be nice to have, because it'll actually tabulate who voted yes, who voted no, who abstained. Jack abstained.
So how do we have
But it-
5 votes?
But it must, because it's got me, I voted yes, and then I voted no, and then I voted yes again, and I don't know, did it count all 3 of them or something?
It did, it must have, because there's 5 votes on there and there's only 3 of you.
Look, scroll down, is that all?
It's supposed to let you change your mind, right?
Yes, you are
So I
supposed to
think,
know.
I think it lets you know, gives you an idea how many times you changed, or how many changed the votes. But here, the actual total is yes, yes, and abstain.
Yeah, that's true. So that tells you how many votes there were, but if you look at, there were 2 yes votes and there was 1 abstain. That's the totals we need to care about.
Oh,
And see, the no votes ended up being grayed out because they weren't the
Oh.
final vote.
Right.
All right, that concludes the test, but but I'm not going to consider that successful. We got some
no,
work to do.
I'm not happy with that.
No, I'm not either. I don't like that you guys are having to refresh and do all that. So we got some more work to do. And even on our side, we need to know what buttons to click to efficiently get that out to you. So we'll keep working at it. We are going to keep doing this the rest of the week. So you're going to get multiple chances. We'll probably do it for the full board meeting as well. So everybody gets another test. And if things start getting better throughout the week and the full board meeting, we will go live with voting in January. If we're not comfortable with that, we won't do it in January either. We're going to make sure we got this down because this is going to matter if this is your only way of voting, doing a roll call vote like this. So thanks for letting you guys be our first one this month. I appreciate it. Jack, other than that, I don't know that I had anything else.
Okay, all right, well, is there a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
Okay,
Nice second.
and Mr.
Need
Reed
it.
seconds it. All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
All right.